Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Washing Dishes. Today we're going to finish up our chicken series with our last chicken breast. We're going to make something kind of fun, kind of football season inspired. Stick around and let's see how we turn some humble grocery store ingredients into a really delicious buffalo chicken dip. If we're going to poach some chicken, the first thing we need to do is get our poaching liquid ready. And the fancy French term for that is court bouillon. It means short stock, which essentially means we're going to make a stock and not simmer it very long. We did this a few weeks ago with the chicken carcass. Today we're going to do it just to poach the chicken breast. And for that, we're just going to cut up a carrot, trying to get away, and some celery, and a little bit of parsley. I'm going to get some water in here, get this on the stove, get the chicken in, and we'll check back in on it.
We've got our court bouillon on the stove and ready to go. We've just added some water to the vegetables. I also tossed a couple of cloves of garlic in, and we're going to bring that to a very, very light simmer and then up to a boil. And then we're going to let it go for a little bit. And once it's been at a boil for probably about 5 to 10 minutes, like a nice solid rolling boil, we're going to go ahead and add our chicken to that, cover the pan, and then just let it sit with the heat off for about 20 to 25 minutes. And the heat from the boiling water is going to cook that chicken extremely gently and leave us with a really beautiful, like tender, moist chicken breast for our sauce.
With our chicken cooling, now's a good time to get started on the rest of our dip. The bulk of it is going to be some cream cheese and some blue cheese. I got Roquefort. If you have a preferred blue cheese, go ahead and use that. If you don't like blue cheese, you could totally replace it with some shredded jack cheese or any kind of good cheese that like has a flavor and melts easily. Pepper jack would be a great option. The rest of it is going to be some good old-fashioned Frank's Red Hot buffalo sauce. Again, if you have a hot sauce that you prefer, use that hot sauce. I grabbed this just for the sake of kind of the classic flavor, but you could totally do this with any number of hot sauces.
Boo! Hi, Editor Wash here. So I mentioned that you can use like pepper jack cheese and some other hot sauce. If you wanted to use like pepper jack cheese and Cholula, and then use like cilantro instead of the parsley and season things, you could have like a really delicious like nacho style cheese dip. But yeah, now back to the recipe.
And then we're going to use some parsley, green onion, and chives just to kind of add some herbiness to it. And as usual, we're going to chop those up and have some to mix in and save some to sprinkle on top as kind of garnish for our dip. So without further ado, let's go ahead and chop up our veggies.
So I'm using a fun little trick here. You roll the herbs, the chives, into a piece of paper towel, let you chop them up real nice, and then you just pop them out, pull out what you need, chop, 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 do it again, chop, chop, chop. Easy peasy, keeps everything from flying all over the place. The green onions, we're just doing a little bias cut on. You can use these up into the green parts until they get dry. And then the parsley, we're just doing a little chop on. We're just using it as a garnish.
Herbs are chopped. Let's go ahead and get the cheese in. So this is actually enough cheese for two chicken breasts. For two chicken breasts worth. I'm just going a little light because we have the wing attached and that was the bag that had some of the extra trim in it. So I'm going to use all of this. It's going to be a little light on the chicken, but I don't really care. So I'm going to just kind of break up my blue cheese a little bit first. There we go. And then I'm going to add all of my cream cheese. And most of my blue cheese, but I'm not going to use all of it. I think I'm going to save about a quarter of it. So maybe, yeah, that looks about right. So this is probably like 2 ounces or so out of a 12-ounce container. And then we're going to add most of our green onions, most of our chives, and we're going to hold back our parsley because that's just going to be garnish. We're also going to add about... So I'm going to add about 2 ounces of red hot sauce and then expect that I'm going to need to add more. Depending on the moisture level of your cheese, that can change. And I'm going to start with my potato masher and then probably switch to a spatula partway through. I'm not trying to get this completely broken up. Like, I want chunks of blue cheese in there, but I do want to get it mixed up and kind of dip consistency. So let's get at it. Alright, there we go. So now we're ready to add the chicken. Let me go shred that up and get it added in. Our chicken has finished poaching. I'm going to go ahead and take 2 forks and shred it. First, I'm going to grab the skin and just kind of discard it. Unfortunately, this application doesn't really have a use for it.
And to shred this, we're just jabbing the fork into it, scraping off what we can, repeat, until it's all kind of a little bit smaller than bite-sized consistency. You want it to blend into the sauce, and as we add the cheese and stuff, that will happen as well.
Chicken shredded, time to add the rest of the cheese. I usually add like most of it, or like 2/3, and then stir it around, just to get everything kind of nice and mixed in. And we really want to work the chicken into the sauce. And the last little bit. And then we'll crumble the rest of our blue cheese onto it. I could have worn gloves for this part. I guess I'll just go wash my hands. So, I gotta wash my hands, so I'm not gonna move this just yet. But, if you could leave it like this, wrap it in plastic or put foil over it, pop it in the fridge overnight, heat it up in the morning or in the afternoon when it's game time, whenever your party is, no problemo. You could serve it right now. If you left the chicken hot, I let the chicken cool down a bit, so I'm going to pop this in the oven just to kind of get it warmed back up and then put it under the broiler, or you could use a kitchen torch to melt the cheese on top and get it nice and like crispy and get a little char on it. So I will be back with you as soon as I've taken care of that and I'm going to wash my hands first and then take care of that. Be right back. If we're going to make a dip, we're going to need something to use to dip it in. So I've got some bread, some celery and carrot, because you got to have celery and carrot with wings, and some zucchini. I'm just going to chop these up and set them on a platter, and then we'll add our dip to that platter. It'll be a beautiful presentation.
With the celery here, I'm just doing good old-fashioned celery sticks. They work. They're good for scooping. No problem. With the carrots, I'm doing a bias cut, which gets you these nice kind of wide coins, and those will do better for scooping up the dip. I'm doing basically the same thing with the zucchini, but since it's a little wider, I'm cutting it in half and then doing it. And as you may have guessed, for the bread, we're doing the same thing. Kind of thick, not too thick on a bias.
There we go. Nice and toasty. Just going to drop this carefully, it's very hot, onto my platter. Do a little quick rearrange. There we go. Jam the bread in. And there we have it. Buffalo chicken blue cheese dip. Perfect for any party, especially during football season. Let's give it a try. And I'm going to go carrot. Hot. That's so good. So good. Anyway, give it a try. Let me know how it comes out. Catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/washingthewind. Catch me on social media, Twitter at washingthewind, Instagram at washingthewind, but with no E. Character limits are a thing. And catch me back here every week for a new cooking video. Let me know what you want to see in the comments. I would love to make what you want to learn how to make. It's kind of the whole point. I want to teach people how to cook food better. Anyway, thanks always for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your time zone.